So in today's video, not going to go over mainly a specific shot, but I'm going to go over a specific club. And the reason is that my son has started to play for a school team, and he has struggled mightily with one club in his bag. Now he's in 6th grade playing for the high school team, so he's having to hit this club a lot, and that is the 3-wood. Now, I actually don't use a 3-wood anymore. I use a mini driver. I've been using this now for about 2 years, and then I use a kind of hybrid utility wood as a 4-wood. So I don't use a 3-wood. I have struggled myself with 3-woods over my career. When I was actually a mini tour player back in the early part of 2000, I actually had 2 hybrids. I had a 1 hybrid, which I believe was about 13 degrees, and then a 2 hybrid. So 3-woods have always been kind of difficult for me as well. And I know for a lot of my students, the 3-wood is kind of a love-hate relationship. They either like it or they don't like it. Now, here's some keys to 3-woods. One, 3-wood, it's difficult because we're usually hitting it off the ground, or we're teeing it up at a very low height. So again, we're still down. However, we've been told for years that we need to treat the 3-wood much like a driver and sweep the ball. Now, that's also, I think, going to cause a lot of issues. Now, if I did do a video quite a few months ago on hitting it high, hitting long irons, that's going to be closer to what we need to do with the 3-wood, is to release the club from the top. And I'm going to go over that in a minute. But the biggest thing with the 3-wood, and I used to fit clubs on a regular basis, I don't as much anymore, but the one thing with a 3-wood, and they make so many of them, if you go out there, there are, goodness, just go to the major OEMs and they'll have 6 or 7, maybe even 8 different fairway woods, from an 8 to a 7-wood of all different makes. So which 3-wood do you go with, or which fairway wood do you go with? He's using an old one here, and it's a high lofted one. So I'm going to focus on this one. First of all, when we take a 3-wood, the most difficult thing that I found when I was setting up to a 3-wood is that they always look closed. They have a lot of loft, and so a lot more loft than a driver, so they look closed. And I got this tip from Ian Baker Finch, that instead of lining up the top line, you line up the bottom edge. So if you look at the top line, and this one happens to have an arrow on it for aiming, if I point it, to me that looks very closed. But if I disregard the top line and I line up the leading edge, now that looks much more square. Okay? So when we line it up, use the bottom edge. Where do I put it in my stance? Now, everybody's going to have a little bit different swing. Some hit more down on it, some hit more up on it. That's why you need to go get fit for the right 3-wood. This, for my son, I used this years ago, a couple of years ago, as a 4-wood. So it's 16.5 degrees, and I used to use a strong 3-wood because I tend to hit up on the ball and sweep it more. I didn't hit down on it like I do more so now. So how we hit, excuse me, how we hit down on it or up on it is really going to determine what kind of 3-wood we need. Now, where do we want in our stance? We want it forward in our stance. Just a little bit. If driver is off the big toe of your lead foot, I would say this one is just a little bit back of that. We don't want to try and lift it up. When people say sweep it, they'll think sweep. So they get back here, they start leaning back, drop the club. Now they lean back, and this club, with as much loft as it is, already has a closed face. We come back here, slice it hook it way off to the left for righties, right for lefties. Or we hit down on it. We don't have as much loft. We have more of a 13 to 14 degree, thinking that that's going to really get it out there. But then we hit straight down on it. The ball squirts because it doesn't have really any friction on it. It squirts off to the right, and we don't get it anywhere off the ground, and it'll just be a big old push slice. So how do we hit a 3-wood properly? let's just pretend that I got fit properly for this 3-wood. When I'm going to go through it, and again, go back to that video, I'll put a link, the link is there in the description. I do want to make sure that I'm releasing from the top, just like if I was trying to hit it high or hit a driver. Okay? Now, the difference is that on a 3-wood, I am going to still try to release down and through the ball into the ground. Okay? We move it up in the stance so that hopefully we release it and it bottoms out where it naturally does with a iron, but then just right before the ball, so that it'll start coming up ever so slightly before the ball, so we do have a positive attack angle. Now, let me see if I can hit this relatively well. Take it back, release from the top. So that worked out pretty good for opening swing. Now you can see here, my swing has changed a little bit over time, but my attack angle was actually a negative 0.5. I was actually hit in front of it just a little bit, and my swing direction was out with a little draw. I'll take that for first swing of the day. So my swing has changed since I last had these clubs. So this would be, if I lower the loft a little bit to about 16.5, this would be a very good club because I now hit down on it more than I used to. I used to really sweep up on the ball, so I needed less loft. So make sure you get fitted. 1. 2, we're going to have the ball forward of center. Instead of being kind of on the big toe or heel like for a driver, we're just going to be a little bit back. We're still going to turn behind it just like we would for a driver. We want to release it just like a driver as early as we can. Okay? But we're really going to release down and through. Don't worry so much about lifting up on it. If you do it properly, your natural swing will take over to where we release just before the ball, and then it'll start coming up ever so slightly. If we come up too early, we're going to roll over it. It's going to go in the ground. If we go down on it and try to get out ahead of it, it's also going to go in the ground and just kind of come up and then nosedive into the ground. So we want to really keep our body stable, release from the top, right on through it. It's okay to hit the ground, extend through, and let the club that you got get the ball up in the air.